Call the meeting of Infrastructure Committee to order. First item is Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I need a motion to adopt the agenda. It's moved by Commissioner Tocco, supported by Commissioner Romano. Please vote. Thank you. Motion to approve the minutes. Moved by Commissioner Leonetti, supported by Commissioner Gillette. Please vote. Thank you. Item number, need a motion to, for public participation. Anyone from the public wish to be heard? Anyone from the public? Anyone from the public? Seeing no one from public, we'll close public participation. Item 6 is department recommendations. Item A is a contract agreement project plan for Insight Public Sector Incorporated, portal for service project tablets. Jako, Van Overbeek, could you please come to the forward and make your presentation? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I have some of my staff here that's been working on this, and also Laura Rios, who's been very involved with this project. This service will provide a web portal that will generate active referrals to veterans, Michigan Works, Health and Community Services, MSUE, DHSS, or Department of Health and Human Services, and also medical rehab services. It is basically a questionnaire that will connect veterans and other with services that's available at all these different entities, and whether they qualify for those services. Access will be available at all these agencies. Once an organization receives a referral, the organization will reach out to the individual to assist them in obtaining the needed services. This will be accomplished by consolidating the agency's systems, data, and/or survey information. We use technology like kiosks and things like that, the internet, into one shared system. The project has been approved by the Human Services Coordinating Body, or HSCB, their executive board. This provided needed services to Macomb County residents, including veterans. Although this is a health project, Laura Rios is a major stakeholder and have been involved in all the meetings that has taken place.
Jake, where did the money come from for this project?
The money comes from the IT budget.
So out of your budget?
Yep, out of our budget. It is budgeted.
And this was scheduled in previous years? How long it's finally come up? How long has it been on your plate?
If, as far as I know, just from this year, Annette?
No, it's been on the plate for several years.
For several years, sorry.
Okay, very good. All right, thank you. Any questions? I don't see anyone requesting. Oh, Commissioner. All right. Okay, Commissioners, Chairman Smith.
Thanks. Good afternoon, Jako. So you said it's from your budget, but I'm kind of looking at your budget, and I don't see very many areas that have that in it. What part of your budget is this money from? Do you know?
It is,
The health technology budget, and it may be called
consolidated services, that's correct. And it's
It's not.
It's an amount of $91,000.
Right. So, and this was in the budgeting at the beginning of the year. This was something you guys anticipated.
That's correct.
Okay, great. And so, are you going to get this done by this year? Because otherwise, I mean, if you don't get it done by this year, it's not like we can use this year's money into next year.
We
are getting it done. I see
fully
Laura
under-
shaking her head.
We
are
fully
getting,
understand that the equipment that we have to order, by the time this is hopefully approved, we will put in the orders and get the equipment in. The actual implementation of the software and everything is a very short time spent to get this implemented. The only thing that I'm concerned about is the other equipment like the kiosks and things like that, that we have to do. And we've had that discussion. I wanted to bring this to last month's meeting, last month's board meeting, but there were a few things that happened that held us up longer than what we thought. One of them that was to get approval from the HSCB, from the board, which happened, and after that, at that time, it was too late for us to bring it to last month's budget or committee meeting.
okay, and I didn't look in here, but is there anything in there with the, like a proposal or a bid or anything like this process, or is this a contract that's only provided by one entity, or
No,
is there
it's-
something in here? I'm sorry.
Yeah, so the project's basically three different components to it. One part of it is iPads that we have to purchase. The iPad purchases we can do through the MyDeal, State of Michigan MyDeal contract. But actually with this vendor, we got a deal through this vendor that's actually cheaper than the MyDeal contract, which ended up being about $350 per device on average. It's unheard of. I mean, that type of pricing we have not seen, in a long time. So that's regarding that component. The other component is the Qualtrics software that we can buy through Michigan MyDeal as well, which is a state contract, and we buy off of those contracts many times. The JLM vendor that we chose is a vendor that we've done business with before, and we, in the proposal that we did, we mentioned that we've done previous business with the vendor, and in the document it states that we have a existing and long-standing relationship, successful relationship of professional services, and that is for the amount of about $34,000 of the $80,000.
Of course. Okay, great. Thank you.
Jake will be, this equipment's gonna be installed quick enough, easy to download, program, but the receiving end of it or the sending units aren't. So technically, the process won't be up and running. The equipment you're buying will be up, but the system itself won't be operational until you get the other half, correct?
It won't be up and running for the entities when it comes to, being able to go to the kiosks and, places like that where they can, enter their information,
Which is the reason we're doing it, right?
do that. That is correct.
So when will that be done? In an estimate?
That, estimation probably,
They estimate it'll be in January, but there is the part that not everybody's going to use an iPad. Michigan Works, they're gonna.
Please come to the mic. It'll be easier so everyone can hear you.
Sorry.
I can hear you, but,
So not everybody's going to need a kiosk. We're going to be able to put this on a desktop, like Michigan Works. We're going to just put it on their desktop because they have, when people come in for unemployment benefits, they have to fill out a questionnaire. So we're going to set it up that they are going to be able to fill up a questionnaire. MRS, they're going to use their existing equipment, and there's discussion with DHS whether they're going to use their existing equipment. Macomb Community Action, they have laptops that they bring out to the facilities, so we're going to be able to put it on their laptop. So it's not necessarily that we're going to hold this up. We like to do pilots, so we're going to pilot on an existing equipment and then roll it out on the kiosk. So that's the plan.
all right. Thank you. Commissioner Gillette.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you for the presentation. And this may be answered in the material, I just didn't gather it very quickly. just walk me through what the customer will see. These are described as tablets and kiosks. Where are they permanently fixed kiosks
Yep.
that the tablet will
I will
be?
refer to Laura, who's
Okay, thank
running
you.
the meetings.
So who is the person that will benefit from this, and how will they go about accessing it through a kiosk or a tablet?
Okay, so the whole project came about from the HSCB, an idea. And so I took the lead from the HSCB to come up with a plan, and we have one person from each organization of the HSCB that have sat around the table for over 2 years to come up and develop what we think we need to help our constituents or our customers better find more resources that they're entitled to. So at first, we looked at different software, whether it was Google, whether it was Qualtrics, or we even looked at key surveys. Could it be a survey that we do that's free? And then we looked at different things. Well, I want this survey to send an email if it's, let's say they access it from home or they access it at DHS, and DHS is the first place they walk into. They fill out this survey, it might say, do you have minor children? Do you want more information about WIC? It would then send an email automatically to that agency with their information on it, once they agree to provide that information and check at the beginning, consent to agree to give out your name and address and phone number.
So the customer is a veteran, likely, right?
A customer can be anywhere in the county.
Okay.
It's probably a county resident.
Okay,
Is
so
the customer.
The customer is a county resident, and this is so they can better connect them with available services that they may not be aware of.
Correct.
And that it's done through a tablet that's going to be set up in a kiosk. And where's the kiosk going to be located?
It's not only a tablet or a kiosk.
Mm-hmm.
It can be done from their home and click this link and fill out this.
So
Right now, we have like 10 questions.
yeah, so
So-
it seems like it'd be easy sort of to do at home, and we would just have a place on the county website or wherever it is that they can access it through. So the kiosks and the tablets are then, why do we have those?
Okay, so for example, when we have events at like Family Resource Center over at Michigan, Macomb Community Action, or we have DHS, these kiosks, while not everybody has a computer at home.
Right.
Not everybody speaks English.
Yeah.
This has the ability, I believe, for 50 different languages. So we can select which language we want them to be able to access, and then they pick. And then that's going to be way easier for us when, I mean, not so much for me, most of my customers speak English, but for Macomb Community Action, somebody can come right up to the kiosk, fill out the survey, and then they might need information on housing, they might need information on food, they might need information for children, for WIC or something like that, or rehab services.
So the kiosks are mobile. They can be brought to specific events.
Well, right now, we want to nail down the kiosks so the tablets won't be stolen. Okay, so that's our goal right now. Is
So
for
where
it
will
to
they be nailed
fixed.
down?
Well, it's going to be fixed in my waiting room.
Okay.
So in my waiting area, I'm going to have one fixed in my waiting area. There are going to be a few fixed at Family Resource Center, which will be at the Thompson and the Washington Center. So when people enter those buildings, they can fill out this survey and be able to get possibly more resources that aren't available at that building. Having a tablet to go, or like the people that do case management in the homes and do senior services does a lot of case management, and they go door to door and go into folks' homes. They'll have it right there on their laptop, and they'll be able to access it there on their laptop and bring it with them.
Okay.
We want to have it in all available formats. So whether it's the kiosk, whether it's on my computer when someone checks in at my office, we want it available in all different ways.
Okay. I'm just trying to understand why we just don't have it available and through the internet, and it clearly would be, but you're saying that the tablets and the kiosks are necessary because they can allow for other languages. They are, I shouldn't say they're not really portable. Well, they're portable. The tablets are obviously portable. And this will allow people to access. Has this been tried in other communities?
Actually, we did look at some projects that were done in California. We did look at projects that were done in other states. They were not identical to ours. They were doing it a little bit different than ours. So there wasn't one exactly like, this is exactly what we're doing. So
And did those projects have results?
they did.
And-
So one project like the one in California, they used the surveys just so more information can be given out to the customer. It didn't connect the customer to like a voice. So what's going to happen is if you fill out the survey and says, I'm a veteran, I'm going to get an email that says, give you a call. So then I'm going to call you within the next probably 2 days and say, hey, I'm here to connect you with services. Would you like to set up an appointment? And then I will be able to go back into the software and then just check a box saying, I've met with you. So then if you go to, let's say, MRS, rehab services, they can see, oh, you've already been there, you've already been there, you've been there. Awesome. I don't have to re-give another referral to all these other agencies. So I want to be able to see what you've already done, or I want to be able to see what DHS has done. I want to be able to see what the other agencies have also done. It's a one way to share information with the consent of the customer.
So it's sort of a pioneering because we can't find someone who's done exactly the same
No.
thing. So we're not sure if it's going to result in more people using these. I mean, you're so much closer to the ground and knowing how well information about these services is getting out there than I am. And sometimes I wonder if we're just out there trying to seek people who need help who don't really need it. I mean, some people clearly do, but is it really that hard to find us that we have to, how much money do we have to spend to give things away?
Good question.
Yeah,
Okay, but I see, sure.
yeah.
Not only surveying, that's one part of this, but the second part of this is to
Be able to take data from all these different entities and consolidate them into one and look to see, based on an algorithm, what other services that we may be providing.
Who would actually then review that survey data and then make the determination about what other services we might be able to provide?
So based on the questions, how you answer them, there's a branching logic to it, will indicate who will get that. So in other words, are you a veteran? Yes or no? If you're a veteran, there's another question that we ask, and that would go to veterans. But then there's family planning. Do you need, you have a senior citizen, right, that comes in, and they need Meals on Wheels, but they also they don't realize you have this chore thing, and, you can look at that. So maybe they go into health department for the vaccine, but they don't realize that there's Meals on Wheels and there's chores benefits. So then the survey would go to, Macomb Community Action to see about providing them with meals and chores. So does that make sense? And so that's the one component, but again, the other component is taking from all these different systems that we have that are separate and consolidating the data into one and doing an algorithm that says if you're a senior, you're getting immunizations, but that's the only thing that you're getting, and maybe you could benefit from Meals on Wheels and immunizations, and then, it's a matter of maybe sending literature to them as opposed to calling. So there's two parts to this project. The initial one is to do the survey, and then the second one is to look at the data that all these different entities have and consolidating into this database, and then doing some logic against that to make sure that the residents are receiving services that are available to them. Does that make sense? So two parts to the project.
It does make sense. I understand that we're looking to find as many people as possible who could benefit from these programs. What makes me wonder is, how, if people could, how hard is it to find these programs today? Is it challenging for folks, everyday folks, to know about the availability of Meals to Wheels? I don't know of data, that would show how hard is it. Is it really a problem that we're not finding enough people to give these benefits to?
I think that the committee has felt it was. I don't know, if I didn't work for Macomb County, I wouldn't realize half the benefits that are out there.
Yeah.
You know, what Macomb Community Action, all the different things that they offer. You know, veterans, you know, we've utilized veterans in our family, you know. So there's a lot of different programs that are out there that people don't realize that are out there. The things that Health Department provides to people, you know, it's not only immunizations and not only environmental health, they also have, you know, where they help people get on Medicaid, there's maternal child health. I don't know that a lot of the communities within Macomb County realize the benefits and the services that we can provide to the citizens of Macomb County.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Toko.
Thank you. Is this contract is just for the iPads and for the portal, is that correct?
The iPads, the portal, as well as the services.
Okay, and so is this a one-year contract, or does it renew?
There will be maintenance after the fact.
And what is the
You know,
cost associated with that?
I do not know exactly what the maintenance cost on the licenses is.
It's in the proposal, if you look,
It's in the contract,
It's in the contract?
in the project plan. Oh, and I apologize, it is not broken down. But
But I can just, you know, maintenance-wise, and this is just in general, maintenance is usually around about 25% of the cost. If I take in IT in general, and I'm not saying that's the case here, but I'm saying in general, cost, if you don't have a breakout, it's around about 25% of, so if you buy software or you buy hardware or whatever, it's usually 25% of the original cost.
So
So
then,
things like services and stuff like that won't have maintenance on it. But I'm talking about the hardware specifically, and then software.
and are you signing a contract for a period of time for this? So,
Is it 3 years? What's the contract?
So, right now, it's a yearly contract with renewal.
each year, or is it like for a 5-year term with a
No,
5-year?
it's just each year.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's, you know, with Apple and the iPads, that's normally a 3-year. So the equipment is the 3 years. The Quadtrack, that contract, that is a 1-year renewal, and then the services, that would be a renewal.
So the iPads, you're not buying the iPads outright, you're buying a service for iPads?
No, we are buying them outright
Okay, so then
from
what's the-
Apple.
Okay, well, so what's the renewal with Apple then? That you'll
So
have?
it's just, the maintenance is normally a 3-year maintenance with Apple.
Okay, so
so-
you'll just have like an Apple Care,
So that means that
Yeah.
for 3 years, you can have that device and they will take care of it, you know, any maintenance issues.
okay, so that's Apple
After
Care or
that,
something?
You will have to renew
All right,
or take out some sort of maintenance on it.
all right, so can you, for the full board, can you tell us how much it will cost each year for the renewal or to maintain these services?
So Quadtrack is also used by Oakland County, and Oakland County indicated there had been no change, and they've used it over 5 years. So we can confirm that, what the cost will be with Quadtrack, and then I can also get what the cost will be on service, so yes. So,
Okay.
you know, I brought in Oakland just so that you get an idea that, you know, we're going after actually kind of their contract, so there has not been any increase with Quadtrack.
Okay, are there any other costs associated with this program?
It's, as far as I know, just implementation from our side, which is personnel costs, time-wise, you know, things like that.
And how much
And-
time do you project, do you project that to be a big project, or?
I don't think so, because it's mostly, the vendor is mostly taking care of the work. For us, it's more so connectivity. We've already spent quite a bit of time in it to make sure that it's secure. You know, moving like the iPad specifically, there was concerns originally about iPads disappearing from places and things like that. We actually looking at things like geolocation, which means that the iPad, when it moves out of a certain geographical area, will automatically be disabled, you know, things like that. So, so there's what we call an MDM, or a mobile device management solution that's included in the Apple price for their iPads, and that is also going to be implemented.
Okay. All right, thank you. I'll look for that information for our full board. That's next Thursday? Next Thursday, thank you.
Any other questions? I don't see anybody else on the list. Okay, I need a motion to receive it, or send us to finance. All those in favor say. Vote, yeah, please vote. No, a motion? All right, I need a motion first. Commissioner Sauger, supported by Commissioner Kraft. All right, please vote. Thank you, Jako. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Commissioners.
Good job. Okay, all right. All right. Item B is a contract with MDOT, Mr. Santo. You're up with your list of projects.
Yes, I am. Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Good afternoon. The first one's the hot asphalt mix for New Haven Road.
That's correct. We have about 2.16 miles of hot mix asphalt cold milling and resurfacing on a section of New Haven Road from North Road, southeast to west of 28 Mile Road, so a little over 2 miles. This is a MDOT contract that we are looking for approval. It is part of our rural program.
The asphalt plant's still open?
No, this will be, some of these projects are slated for the spring of next year. So this is just the contract getting it under award to the contractor. It's already been through the state process, the letting process.
Okay.
Ajax Paving was the low bidder through the MDOT letting. And this is just our state contract with MDOT to proceed. But this will be a spring of next year project.
All right. Thank you. I have no questions. Anyone else have any questions? I see no one on the list.
I
need
just have a
motion.
question, Mr. Chair. I'd just like to ask, can you explain exactly what is hot mix asphalt cold milling and resurfacing, please?
When we have an existing roadway that's asphalt, and it's deteriorated to the point where we can mill the surface off and then put a new surface of asphalt on top of it and then shoulder it, so.
How far down do you have to go when you mill it? Like,
It depends on the application. Sometimes we edge mill. Typically, if we mill full width across, it's anywhere from 2 to 3 inches that we'll mill off.
okay,
And then we'll do some joint repairs if there's joints that are damaged, and then pave over top of it.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else? Need a motion to approve? Moved by Commissioner Kraft, supported by Commissioner Romano. Please vote. Very good, that passes. Next is the surveillance camera installation work. No, excuse me, the
See.
guardrail safety project first.
This is a annual project that we have. It's basically guardrail locations throughout the county, repair, replacement of damaged guardrail. Some of the work involves upgrading, ending attachments to current conditions and current standards. So this is an internal project to the Department of Roads in Macomb County. So the low bidder was Action Traffic Maintenance, and we're looking at a contract with them to perform this work. This is one of the projects that they might proceed, pending the weather, to start work on currently or when they get approval or award. This will spill over into the spring also, depending on weather conditions.
All right. Any questions on this? Commissioner Gillette?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just for clarity, the guardrail are those metal things on the side of the road there to
Yes,
keep
when we have
them
a slope or, say, a drain crossing that dives off severely from the roadway edge, yes, it's the guardrail with the wood posts or metal posts in some conditions, but it is the metal
rail sort of
rails,
thing.
yes.
Okay,
correct.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Need a motion to approve. Commissioner, Commissioner Romano, please.
Hi, Brian.
How you doing?
The guardrails, how often do you inspect them?
On an annual basis. I mean, when we have people out,
Summer, fall, winter?
I mean, as far as somebody going out dedicated to that, I don't think we have somebody dedicated to that. It's just, we have a traffic department that obviously goes around on a weekly basis or monthly basis on their travels. We get reports from residents or businesses that they have damaged guardrail. they'll put these on a list. If they can do it, in the near future with our forces, or if it's something that we put on this program, it just depends on the severity of the damage and the work that's involved.
Thank you, that's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I need a motion to approve. Commissioner Romano, supported by Commissioner Leonetti, reluctantly. Please vote. Strike reluctantly. All right, thank you. Next is the surveillance camera installation.
Yes, this is
MDOT
another MDOT contract based on installation of surveillance cameras, wireless interconnect, managed network switches, truss arms, and communication poles on various locations and routes in Macomb County. That's ran through our traffic department, and it is funded by CMAQ money, which is congestion mitigation and air quality funding, at a rate of 80%. The balance is within Macomb County as far as the match money. So this is a typical program. We do have various intersections that currently have surveillance cameras at the intersection. This is just continuing that program through the state.
What's the long-term goal to put these surveillance? Do we want them at 100% of our intersections, or what's the?
Yes, ultimately, we will want upgrades to all of our intersections, one camera-wise, two communication-wise. In fact, I just had a situation yesterday. We had 15 Mile Road that we had opened up through the Public Works as far as the sinkhole area. There's a little bit of miscommunication between Public Works and our office as far as the signal at 15 and Hayes. It was still on flash. I made a call to our traffic department, talked to one of our supervisors, and even though it wasn't coordinated in advance, he was able to do that remotely as far as switch the signal from flash to colors. So he did that from our office, basically. So it's basically, these next three actually projects are basically upgrading intersections to that capacity with cameras, the communication, and then ultimately in the future for connected vehicles, which means the signals will communicate with the vehicles coming up to warn the vehicle, and they talk to each other. So if a vehicle is traveling up to the intersection and the person's not paying attention and the light turns red with a connected vehicle, the car will actually announce through the display and through sometimes vibrations in the passenger or driver's seat that you're approaching a red light at a high velocity, that warns the driver. So we're upgrading intersections on a systematic basis to be prepared for that future technology.
That's an improvement over the passengers warning the driver, as has sometimes happened with me. All right,
So-
very good. Any questions here, Commissioner Romano?
Again, Brian, if I may, are these cameras ever,
Joe?
can these cameras, thank you. Can these cameras be used by law enforcement for traffic infractions, or will they be available to law enforcement for traffic? I'm trying to see if this Big Brother thing is coming about.
Currently, our dispatch uses the cameras, if there's an accident or something like that, or if, an armed robbery, they have cameras available in that area. Through our Comtech building, dispatch is located there. We have a huge video wall screen. They have done that in the past and will continue to do that. We don't, as a department, Macomb County Department, we don't record the video footage, but I know dispatch and the sheriffs do on some level. But it has been used and is currently used by dispatch to assist and aid in traffic accidents. They see the intersection, they see the traffic congestion, and it has been, used in instances, for the sheriff's department also.
Same question, if I may, Brian. Have they been used for traffic infractions? Somewhere
Not
in
to my
Ohio,
knowledge as far as citations and,
Right.
and such like that, no.
they have not been used. Okay,
No.
thank you, that's all I have. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Gillette.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Could these cameras be used to change the signal for traffic reasons? For example, if there's a red light, but somebody's sitting there waiting for it, but there's nobody coming. Will it turn it green so they can go forward?
Well, the camera itself will not do that. I mean, we have technology for the intersections to make them smart, which it recognizes through, we have various, sonar, radar. We have some that are in the pavement as far as a wired, where the vehicle drives over. That's more obsolete and not newer technology. But the camera itself doesn't do that, but there's equipment at the intersection that does know when a vehicle is present for a left turn, or if there's no through traffic one direction, it'll switch and cycle to the other direction. So that's not at every intersection, but we are moving towards that.
So these cameras aren't part of that process specifically?
The surveillance cameras, no,
Okay.
are not. That was just for visual communication, to look at the intersection and see if there's any issues with looking at the video. If there's an issue with backups, somebody could physically look at that, and then remotely, if we had that option for that intersection, remotely change some of the timing for that intersection.
Okay.
So
This is a bit of a tangent, but what percentage of our intersections are, I guess, smart, where they can see that nobody's waiting to turn left, so don't give them a green arrow? Is it very small right now? Is it
I'd say probably a quarter of our signals right now,
it's
overall.
more than I would expect it, okay.
So, but we're moving towards, the new technology to make all of our signals more efficient and easy to communicate with.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Commissioner Toko.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is for 26 signals, is that,
26 locations throughout the county, yes.
okay. Where are those locations?
I don't have that with me. I can get that for you as
Okay.
far as the exact locations.
Okay.
Just like the next couple, we have 53 locations on the next one and 156 locations on the one after that, as far as the contracts that we have.
Okay, and this 411,000, this is equipment only?
Well, that's the engineer's estimate. The actual, Dan's excavating got it for $328,000, $328,000 and change. That's for basically all the upgrades to those 23 locations or intersections. So it's basically the equipment, obviously the labor to go out there and switch out and put in the cameras in, install them, change any type of software within the cabinet.
Okay, I think that's right, I got a little bit lost. So it's, the contract is for 300 and,
Dan's estimating was a low bidder at $328,577.33.
okay, and our resolution is for 411,000.
That was the engineer's estimate, yep, prior to, when we advertise, we always use the estimated. We come up with a engineer's estimate, basically for what items we think are needed. We have an average unit price that we attach to that, so that's basically what we move forward with as the engineer's estimate. When they actually bid the contract with the contractors, that's the actual bid. So actually, this project is under by 20%. So Dan's Excavating bid it 20% under what we estimated that this project would potentially cost.
So is there a problem if we modify that, the resolution?
To reflect the actual amount?
Right, correct.
I don't have the actual amount. You have the actual amount? I don't show that amount.
It shows that 411, same thing you show.
Mr. Santo just said 322.
That's what I'm saying, I don't show that.
So look, there's a $90,000 difference.
Yeah, where's it at?
I don't know how this happened in the past. I mean, this is how we typically do move forward with contracts with MDOT. I mean,
Commissioner Kleinfeld, did you have, I'll yield to you if you have some questions on it.
Just now that we, even if you did, now that we know, I think Kathy's. Right, that's all.
Who made the motion?
Yeah.
Right.
Why don't you put those right number in there, and we'll adjust it up to contract, we'll bring it forward.
I mean, keep in mind that, this is the actual project that has not been completed. So, I mean, if there's overages or extras, that will be applied to this project. So,
I get that, and I'm not saying that we wouldn't do it, but for purposes of oversight, if it's 90,000, we can come back and adjust it. is my thought. So I'd request that it be corrected to reflect the actual amount and not the estimate.
Okay.
Is that in form of a motion? If it is,
There's a motion to that effect.
No motion's been made.
There's no motion been made yet?
No.
I'll make the motion to approve it in the amount of the bid amount.
Support the finance.
For the finance.
Is that supported by someone?
I'll support that.
Okay, well, that shouldn't cause you any, problems, should it, Brian? Just put the number in there.
I can check on that. I tell you the
Yeah.
truth, I don't know.
Okay.
This is
Why don't you check it out? If there's
standard
an
of how
issue-
we normally process these.
Yeah, well, it might be a little bit different going forward, maybe, so. Commissioner Gillette?
Thank you. What would happen if we approved it at the amount of 411, but it didn't go over and it ended up being completed at 322? What would happen to that extra $90,000?
The state is paying basically 80% of this. So everything is paid through the state, so they generate the paychecks to the contractor. We document all the work that's done on the project. They're paid on a biweekly basis. It just would not be spent. So we allocate so much money as the engineer's estimates. We estimate $411,000 is what we had put in our budget for this project as an engineer's estimate. So depending if it comes on over or under, we wouldn't spend that money. It's not like we
Right.
give them 20% up front
But
and then we
that,
need
that,
a refund. I mean,
that
we pay as we
322,
go.
that's the total cost of the project, not our percent. Is that correct?
The $320,000 is a total project.
Right, so the
Yeah.
state's paying 80% of that.
Yes, correct.
We're paying 20% of that.
Yeah.
So if it comes under, it's,
We just wouldn't spend that money. We gotta cut a check to the state
yeah.
also, so when the pay estimate goes out, we cut a check to the state. So it's not like everything goes out in one shebang.
Right, okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Commissioner Clanthorpe? I'm sorry. See that.
320, I want to make sure we have the exact number so that we can.
$328,577.33.
Okay, thank you.
You're
If we
welcome.
could include that in the motion. And did we put this out to bid, or did the state put this out to bid?
It's run through the state. So we put the project, I know there was a question before, but when we have monies from the state, okay?
Yes.
We put the project together, we have money allocation from the state. They say, go ahead with this project. You're funded for this project. We design it, we turn it over to MDOT, they let it through their system. They have the low bid system, and then once they have a low contractor, they send out the contract for us to sign between us and the state, saying that we're moving forward with this project. Our share is 20%, they're paying 80%, and we oversee the project for basically MDOT.
Okay, just out of curiosity, if there comes a time when the low bidder that they kick back is somebody we've had bad experiences with, do we have the opportunity to say, we've got a problem with that person or that company, we'd like to go with the next one, or?
If a contractor is on the pre-qualified list and bids an appropriate project for their qualifications as far as their capacity to do whatever bridge work, road work, underground work, there is an evaluation process that we do at the end. It's a contractor evaluation. We evaluate both the prime and all the subcontractors per project on a scale of 1 to 10
And you
for
report
various
that to the
categories.
state?
And depending on that, for multiple projects, not only with us, but throughout the state
Right.
and the county, the contractor will get a rating. It's very tough to negate
Okay.
a contractor at the state level, just because we might have had a rougher experience in the past with them.
All right,
Bless
thank you.
Any other speakers? Motion's been made and supported. Please vote. Okay, motion passes. MDOT Wireless Connection Network, part of the same,
Yes, this is along the same lines as 53 locations within Macomb County. Basically, it's the communication between the signals in the intersection and our Comtech Center, which is the main center that we house in Mount Clemens there. So this is basically 53 locations to improve the network communications with these 53 intersections or locations.
Okay. Same question, I guess. Put the bid amount in the motion. I would assume that's what we want to do again, correct? Yeah, the actual cost. Commissioner Kleinfeld?
Thank you, because it just occurred to me we may have an issue with that. We may have to correct that going to full board. Because if you remember my first meeting, I attempt to make changes to a contract because of stupid things like grammatical errors, and I was told the board can only approve up or down, they can't make changes. So even though we want it to reflect the actual contract, we may not be able to do that. So that's something that we need to look into before full board.
We'll just take motions to approve these, and we'll work on that between.
And we'll get it fixed one
Yes,
way or the other for
finance.
full board. Thank you.
For finance, maybe. Thank
Okay.
you. All right.
Will do.
Need a motion on this to approve? Moved by Commissioner Sauger, supported by Commissioner Kraft. Please vote. You had your hand moving. It's like an auctioneer. Okay, thank you. Item F, contract management software implementation. Again, another MDOT contract.
Yes, that is correct. 156 locations, traffic signal controller and system upgrades, various components at the 156 locations as far as upgrades, computer-wise and, technical aspect of the different units. There's umpteen units in the controller cabinets that obviously control our intersections. And this is basically 156 locations. That once again, it's CMAQ money from the state at a 80-20 breakout, 80% paid for, 20% out of Macomb County.
Okay. Any questions on this? I see no speakers. Need a motion to approve. Commissioner Kleinfeld and Commissioner Romano support. Please vote. Okay, motion passes. And item G, the full depth concrete repair work for Schoenherr, 15 and 16, between 15 and 16 mile.
Yes, this is a project we have slated for the spring of next year. It's 1.41 miles of concrete pavement, curb and gutter, and curb repairs, sidewalk and ramps on a stretch of Schoenherr Road from 15 Mile Road to just north of 16 Mile Road in Sterling Heights.
Whose district is that?
That's my question.
That's Commissioner Romano.
Thank you. Bryan, can you tell me how long you anticipate that's going to take?
With this type of project, I would assume that it's going to take probably from May through probably August.
And Schoenherr will remain open, but on a limited basis, I mean, as far as traffic is concerned?
Yes, we'll maintain traffic throughout the project through different stages.
Long time coming. I'm happy to see it coming. Thank you. That's all I have, Chair.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Mr. Chair, just a question over here. Brian, just curious, exactly define full depth concrete repair work, please.
On a concrete pavement, existing concrete pavement roadway, sometimes we do detail 7 joint repairs. Full depth concrete means that we'll take out the full panel, full depth to the top of the underlying base. So it's full depth being that whatever concrete thickness is out there, say it's 9 inches, we'll remove all that concrete and replace full depth, the same amount of inches.
I see. And you're going to have an asphalt overlay. Can you explain that? And is that similar to M59, what we talked about a few weeks ago?
M59 was totally removed and replaced.
Right.
With this type of project, we leave the existing concrete pavement in place. We'll do our pavement panel repairs that need it. We'll do our joint repairs. and then we will overlay that existing surface once we do our repairs. So we don't remove the entire concrete pavement.
And
like
on
M59.
Schoenherr Road,
On Schoenherr Road, yes.
you're not removing all the concrete,
No,
just some of it. And then on the
Yes.
top, you're putting a top layer of asphalt.
yes.
And then can you explain why that is? What the engineering side of that, the engineering aspects of that?
Part of it has to do with funding. I mean, to totally remove and replace a full section of roadway like that is very, very expensive. And depending on the community and the match money and stuff like that, this is, extending the life of that pavement out there. It's not like a full reconstruct, but it does give the existing structure more durability and lifespan by doing it this way. We've done umpteen projects in my time here of the same nature. It's called a mill and fill. Go out there, do our concrete patch repairs, do our joint repairs, and then put anywhere from 1.5 inches to 3 inches of asphalt back on top, and get a service life out of the remaining pavement.
What's the purpose of the asphalt, though? Does that prevent water from getting down there, which freezes and creates cracks?
That's part of it. I mean, we have freeze-thaw effect, but it's basically putting a new surface on an existing roadway. It's smoother, it's more uniform, it sheds water better. You can only do so much repair on an existing concrete pavement and make it so smooth, doing pavement repairs and joint repairs. The whole idea of doing joint repairs, you chip out the bad spots in the joint,
Right.
you fill it with asphalt, make it smooth to the existing concrete top, and then you pave over top of it.
Let me ask you this: if the road department had a lot more money, would you do this differently? Would it be all full concrete repair, tear everything out, and no asphalt on top?
Well, it's not only us, Commissioner, it's communities also. I mean, this is a shared partnership with Sterling Heights at a 50-50% split, so that would entail more dollars
I
spent
guess
on.
it's a money issue. is
Yes,
what it-
correct.
The reason why it's being engineered this way is because it's a money issue.
Yes, we only have so much money to do
Gotcha.
capacity jobs and reconstructs versus the preventive maintenance type that we're doing on this one.
Thank you. A few more questions here. We're getting $3.5 million of federal money for this project. This is what, 4.296 million, and we're getting 3.5 federal. How does that work? Why are we getting federal money for a county road?
Well, this is federally aid eligible section of
Okay.
roadway.
Okay.
So when that's the case, we submit projects for application, and that's what our tip is. Our tip is set through 2020 right now. I think they're going to have another call for projects in early 2018. So the communities and ourselves will put different projects up for tip funding, federal funding.
Tip funding, okay. Are there a lot of roads in the county that could get federal money? What are the qualifications or criteria needed?
Just the
for
location road designation. I could get a map or a listing of federally
Okay.
aid eligible roadways.
Okay.
I don't have that with me, but I mean,
Okay.
we're through
And then the final cost, $779,000, that's coming out of the county Department of Roads construction budget, is that right?
The 50/50, so.
That would be
split with-
50/50?
Yes, split with Sterling
Okay,
Heights.
'cause it didn't say that in there. Okay, thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Any other questions? We already have a motion by Commissioner Romano, supported by Commissioner Leonetti. All those in favor, please vote. They just cry. Thank you very much. One question for you, what's the status of the 28 Mile Road Bridge in Ray Township? Can you send me a report on that when you find out?
I sure can.
Just drop me an email or text me or something. Thank you.
You're welcome.
New business, any new business come before the committee? Commissioner Sauger.
Yeah, I just wanted to congratulate the board on that question and answer with the county clerk. I was off and I read it, I was here, and I heard a lot of great questions, a lot of great answers, and I found out there's a lot of intelligence on this board. I just want to congratulate you all.
You
Thank
just found that out?
Any other new business? Commissioner, Chairman Smith.
Thank you. Well, I heard a lot of great questions. I'm not so sure about the great answer part. But your calendar, the proposed calendar is on your desk. Please take a look at it, number one. Number two, the Macomb County Business Awards, everybody's received an email on those. The due date on those, I believe, is the 15th. I don't have it in front of me. But please, commissioners, go into your community, find a business or two to nominate for these business awards. I mean, we should be a part of this type of thing, and the only people keeping us from it are ourselves. This is a great, tool to get out in the community, talk to your business leaders, find out what they've been doing, and maybe nominate them for one of these awards. So,
What is the deadline, 15th?
I believe it's December 15th. I know it was emailed to us at one point.
It'll probably take them at least I agree, absolutely. It's a good thing to take advantage of.
I'm not sure the time frame it would take from now till then to get them, registered, or
But it's a good opportunity.
But it certainly is something worth looking at. I mean,
We should ask the department to let us know a little bit more in advance.
Like I said, Don, I believe we've known about this for quite a while on our emails. So
Did you? Okay, all
yeah,
right. Okay.
and I mean, listen, we all are. We're all do the same thing. Sometimes we pass up something, we're going to look at it later, and we don't.
Yeah,
But
that's
this is
me.
something that's come up. We still have over a
good.
week
Okay.
left to nominate, and I think it's something we should look into. So.
Very good. Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. Need a motion to adjourn. Public participation. Anyone from the public wish to be heard? Anyone from the public? Anyone from the public? Seeing no one, need a motion to adjourn. Moved by Commissioner Gillette, supported by Commissioner Toko. All those in favor say aye. Or vote, please. Going old school on us. Thank you.